All right, here we go. Betting Weekly Live here with you on a Thursday. Mike Carver and Doug Kezirian getting you ready for all of tonight's action. We've got a little NBA tonight, some NHL, some college hoops. I think we're even going to get ourselves ready for UFC on Saturday night, as well as we have an event back in Vegas for at the T-Mobile. Of course, Betting Weekly Live, Betting Weekly Studios, part of the Bet Rivers Network. Great to have everybody here. Happy Thursday, Doug. How are you?
Doing all right. Frustrated with the Nebraska ending and St. Mary's monster second half, but not first. It kind of started with about 3 minutes to go in the first half. Then the breaks. Betting is tough sometimes, but, true to form, we hit like a bunch of other plays. And that special I described, how about an NBA game going under by 50 plus?
Yeah.
That's does not happen very often. Saw it coming a mile away, just didn't make it the best bet.
No, did not. You said with that game going way under. Nice job by the Knicks, too. They won by almost 60 against the Nets. They bounced back in a big way. And I thankfully fell asleep before I could watch USC be completely gutless against Northwestern at home. Thankfully, I woke up around like 2:30 a.m. East, and I rolled over and looked at the phone. I went, nice effort by the Trojans.
That's about right.
Northwestern. Good job. And I'm also, by the way, I'll make this official too, because you kind of looked at me, SJ, and you said, you really want to do that? I'm officially done with Hurley in Arizona State also. I have put them to bed, especially when I had to watch him after the game tell everyone, yeah, we got no atmosphere at home. I mean, we just don't even play well. So thankfully, Doug, I've learned my lesson. Sometimes you have to pay to learn lessons, and I did it again last night with the Sun Devils.
I mean, I like how he's blaming that on the university or something. It's like, well, they're certainly behind Dillingham, so you do the math, Bobby.
Unbelievable. It really is. All right, before we get going, of course, we always want to keep you updated. We got a lot going on with the Australian Open. Make sure on your Bet Rivers app, you enter in the bonus code BWAO. That's the letter O, 26. In your Bet Rivers app, you get a $10 bonus bet to use on an Australian Open wager. That code again, BWAO26. There it is right there. Offer expires on January 31st. Must be 21. Eligible players only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Also, when you log into Bet Rivers, you can receive a daily Australian Open profit boost to use on the day's matches. So make sure you put in the code BWAO, letter O, 26 for all your Australian Open action. All right, Doug, we are ready to roll tonight. NBA, 8 games. Let's do it. We've got a doubleheader on Prime. Pretty good one, especially the late tilt, which we'll get to in a moment. But it starts just after 7:30 East in Dallas. Warriors and the Mavs to begin our evening on the hardwood. Right now at Bet Rivers, -6 for the Warriors, 234.5 the total.
Obviously, there is some layers to this, right? The Jimmy Butler news, this Warriors number has ticked up a little bit. I think it's really important to kind of discuss Dallas, right? They've had some nice wins in a row. No Gaffer tonight, but Flag should be fully healthy. And then these guys have pieced together a kind of a nice little run. And look, I'm not saying they're going to the NBA Finals, but a couple years ago when they made their move, it was the second half of the season when Jason Kidd started to put things together with the team and had to figure it out. I'm just saying they're well coached. Some of the pieces fit. Flag's been incredible. I think it's too many points for a Golden State team that is pretty dysfunctional. Something I read and I'd forgotten, Steve Kerr is a lame duck coach, literally the definition of it. He's on the final year of his contract. He's got the Kuminga saga going on. We're not sure about Butler. He's starting guys that I didn't really know existed a couple years ago. And I think 6 is a little too many points. One prop that you always kind of have to consider when these Splash Brothers reunite, Clay over 3.5's like made threes is like $1.65. It's a little rich for a guy that, he's posting TikTok videos, working out with his girlfriend, Megan Thee Stallion, I think is how you pronounce it. So I don't really know what to expect. I feel like the line move you have to respect. But, I mean, honestly, it's Mavs or pass at this point.
Last time against the Warriors, I guess, was Christmas Day, right? They were at Golden State on Christmas Day, and Clay had 7 points. He was 1 for 4 from downtown.
Exactly.
In that game. So, look, you never know with this stuff, and he could explode at any time, especially against the Warriors. But he is having some year, Clay. It might be time to shut it down. I would also like to put in a plea, Doug, with the Warriors. Can they trade Steph's brother Seth? So that way, every day when I open up, I always look at the injury report, see who's on it, who's not. Every day, S. Curry is on the Warriors injury report, but it's actually Seth, not Steph. And they confuse me, Doug. So I want them to trade Seth away. Please get him off the team.
You sound like buddies who are sick of the ticker on these networks that don't put like women's college basketball in pink or something. It's like, what?
Please.
Purdue lost by 35
no.
to Michigan? It's like, no, just the women's game.
No,
so,
it's just,
there
needs
to be some
on the injury report.
I know. Those things get you. I still don't understand why the Chargers are playing the Lakers, but LAC gets me every time.
I know. The Lake. Speaking of LA, the late game on Prime tonight, just after 10 o'clock East. Here we go. The Lakers and the Clippers, a rivalry unlike any other, as they get together. This is now Clippers -1, 222.5 the total.
This is always fun. It's Panda Watch, also known as Kawhi Watch. We're tracking to see if he plays, and he's expected to miss, but he's technically questionable. So I guess that means he's likely going to play, because doubtful means you're unlikely to play. This Lakers team, I just can't back. They play no defense, and they lucked out against the Raptors. I thought the game against Denver was fantastic. I thought they played great. Really, really solid. Now, there's no Jokic, I get it, but I thought they came to play and hung around all game and made a nice push in the fourth quarter. That's not typical of what we see from this Lakers squad. So I'd roll with the Clippers here if I had to play it.
We had with these two back and forth, we had a really long stretch, Doug, where the Clippers kind of own the Lakers. And then we had a really long stretch where the Lakers kind of own the Clippers. This is, I believe, their third meeting already this year, and they've split. So, there's been kind of streaky the back and forth when these two get together, and the Clippers won the last meeting. So maybe they're looking to get on a little run. But injuries are tough. You never know who's playing in each of these games. It's trying to go back and go through those stretches of head-to-heads, especially in the NBA, has got to be a little bit harder, considering you got to really dig and see who played and who didn't in them.
And Luka, obviously, the variance of his play is quite different, right? He could be awesome. He could be not so much. When he's on and clicking and just dictating and controlling the entire game, he's LeBron-esque, I guess, is a way to put it, just because he's a triple-double when he's on. But the problem is you just don't know. It's such a mixed bag of results. You just don't know what you're going to get. And that's just my apprehension. So for me, it's always like fade Lakers or pass.
There you go. Lakers and Clippers tonight. Second game on the Prime doubleheader. Elsewhere in the NBA, my Hornets, who were getting their doors blown off by the Cavs last night and then kind of crawled back in the game and got it to single digits, obviously still came up short. Now they play second night of a back-to-back in Orlando against the Magic. Magic first game since going to Europe last weekend. They have not played since that London game on Sunday. Of course, they played the Grizzlies. They are 5.5-point home favorites here tonight, 223.5 the total.
So the other team that played in Europe was the Grizzlies, and they lost. So yesterday, the Hawks got them down the stretch, too. Some big shots from both teams down the stretch in the final couple minutes. LaMelo Ball coming off a 1 of 15 shooting, including 0 of 10 from downtown, because 0 of 9 wasn't enough. You had to keep shooting, LaMelo. So he's listed as questionable. So that's a factor here. This line's come down from 6.5, 6 to 5.5, 5. Despite the LaMelo status, I think it's Hornets or pass. But I will say it's not like the Grizzlies were, totally jet lagged or hitting a wall. Like the Hawks are just better and played well and, made a couple shots down the stretch. I mean, CJ McCollum up 1, about $1:15 to go, I believe. Hits a step back, short corner 3 right in front of the Grizzlies bench to make it a 4-point game, turns around and taunts. Ja Morant, of course, not clutch down the stretch, and go figure, Grizzlies lose. So that's where I am. I'm Hornets or pass, but by no means a big play, especially with like LaMelo's status. I'd look at Concacaf's threes, but Magic can muck it up defensively.
Yeah, look, you can always talk me into my Hornets grabbing points, especially with the way that they have been playing over the past couple of weeks. Your Jazz coming off a big win against the Timberwolves the other night. Now,
First win of the year without Markkanen. They were 0-10.
first win
They
of the
improved to
year.
1-11. No sense of ball either. Really big game from Keyshawn George or Keontae George. I get them all mixed
Yes.
up. But George had a big game. So here the Spurs come off a brutal beat, my friend. Did you see this game with the Rockets?
This was on that was on Tuesday night, right? That game, the Spur
Wire to
Rockets.
wire winner, except that it wasn't. They only scored 14 points or something in the fourth quarter.
Oh,
Lost by the hook.
yeah, 29-14. They were outscored in the fourth quarter on Tuesday night in Houston. Lost by the hook tonight, laying the 12.5 on the road. And of course, we've been looking at the Jazz injury report a lot lately. I'm still seeing Markkanen is out with the illness.
Yeah, so he's back on the court getting his conditioning back. So missed so much time. I'm not saying it's atrophy, but you got to get your sea legs back, if you will. So he's not officially going to suit up, but he's back inching closer to return. So it's trending in the right direction, but he will not be suiting up tonight.
Sensabaugh now, game time. He didn't play the other night. And Keontae George on the injury report as well after he had a monster night the other night. So once again, a lot of injury stuff for Utah as they get ready to play the Spurs tonight.
Yeah, I like the first half team total for the Spurs. Look, this Jazz team wants to get up and down. They're not going to lock you down. They're also coming off a nice win. Spurs off a bad loss. I don't want to worry about them in the altitude with back-to-back road games in the second half. So first half total points 64.5. It's a big number, but I think we get there. It's the Jazz. It's the Spurs. I just think that second unit's really strong. So usually I get a little worried because the Jazz do have depth and everything. I just think they're going to light them up.
Light them up, first half, up, and away with the Spurs there in Utah. Rockets, team you were just mentioning, in Philly tonight against the Sixers. We got Rockets, the road favorite here, -2.5 at Bet Rivers, 221.5 is the total. As usual, you want to make sure you see who's in and out for the Sixers, Doug, on a nightly basis.
So no Embiid, it looks like, although I think he's officially listed. He's probable. So he's expected to return. Paul George listed as questionable. So that Rockets miracle cover by a hook, they are now 2-8 ATS in their last 10 games. So I'm not a big believer in them. I think the Sixers are a great chance to middle. I would take a big position on Philly, but then again, it's the NBA, so you got to be careful. But I think Sixers plus 2.5 can maybe catch 2.5 on the other side at some point with the Rockets. I don't think highly of this Rockets team, and I think even less of them off a lucky win. I just think they want no part of the regular season right now. I think they want to go through the motions. And I think they want to flip the switch in the playoffs, hoping Van Vliet can even return, as crazy as that sounds. But either way, I don't think they're about the night in, night out. Durant's worried about his efficiency numbers. Steven Adams may be out for the year. You heard that here first. I just think there's a lot going on here. And yes, Jamari Smith's playing a little better, and Reed Shepherd can stick a few threes as some daggers in the second quarter and fourth. But all in all, this is a Rockets team I want to fade. I like Sengun a lot, but, every team has to have good player. I mean, it can't be just like all bad. So I just have to roll with the Sixers. The problem is that there's no George. You're looking at just Maxey, Edgecombe, and then like a couple guys off the bench. I mean, Oubre went for 20-something in the last game. So you're really relying on guys like that. And Amen Thompson, some of these guys just really put in work defensively and muck it up. But either way, Drummond's going to be big in this game if Embiid can't go. I just think the Sixers eke it out at home, and they're well coached as well. I like Udoka, but don't sleep on Nick Nurse.
Don't sleep on Nick Nurse. Definitely cannot do that. What else do we got here tonight in the NBA? Like the Nuggets, 6-point road favorites in DC against the Wiz tonight, 226.5 the total.
Yeah, I mean, we thought this Wizards team would crumble after trading the glue guy CJ McCollum, but no, they've been just as strong, but they're not winning. They've lost, I believe, 7 straight now. However, they're covering machine these days. So with Denver in town, I think it's a team you kind of want to bet on, as crazy as that sounds. Alex Sarr went off in the last game. Other guys go off. It's kind of crazy. But they had all 5 starters in double figures. They got the Champagne guy off the bench, the brother of the one on the Spurs. Keyshawn George, we talked about Keontae all the time, but these random guys, Carrington and Trey John, I wouldn't want to bet props on this team because you just don't know what you're going to get, but they're playing hard and they're well coached.
The Bulls are in Minnesota against the Timberwolves. The T-Wolves, of course, you could never figure them out. They do like to play down to competition. I guess you would say the Bulls are, would be lesser competition, so they could play down to them. Giddey's still on the injury report. He's game time with the hamstring. Bulls catching 8.5 in Minnesota tonight.
Yeah, I mean, in general, T-Wolves are a good team you want to bet against when they're off wins, like multiple wins, not when they've lost 3 straight. But I definitely think there's something a little off with this team. And I think Chicago just has a ton of firepower. So, this kind of reminds me of the Knicks game the other night, where it was like, now I don't think the T-Wolves had a players only meeting like the Knicks did, but it kind of screams blowout, but you just don't trust it. So I can't get involved. So, I mean, it's probably a T-Wolves smash job, but they, like you said, they play down to their opponent. Even after 3 straight losses, I can't really rely on them.
They're hard to trust, right? Like, it's just like there's not a lot of trust factor with Minnesota. Like, it just really
and also
isn't.
This time of year, Carver, like it's the midpoint of the season. We're before the All-Star break. They hit a little wall here, travel wears on you. We were talking about the Rockets game the other day. They've played the fewest home games of any team, I believe. So, yeah, they're going to be on the road, but their schedule is going to get better the back half of the season because they're going to have more home games. But this is all part of the equation. I think also, I mean, let's just face it. You watch enough of these Jordan ads and everything. Like you make $30 million a year, you're just not going to have the edge when it's proven that the seeding does not really matter. So it's just about being healthy. And, obviously the play-in, they tried to change things in the league offices, but I joke, like we care more about these games we bet on than they do in the NBA.
I would agree with you on that statement. Last one for you tonight. The Heat are in the middle of this 5-game West Coast trip where they've split the first 2. They're in Portland tonight against the Blazers. Blazers now -2 at Bet Rivers, 236.5 the total.
I don't know what to make of this Miami team or this Blazers team. I think Blazers are a tough team. I think, just on their home court because the travel and the long road trip. I would lean Blazers here. I'd also lean over. These teams want to get up and down. That's one thing that I'm pretty confident in. So it's a big number. I made the mistake of doing the over in the Heat Sacto first quarter. And of course, the first half and game went over. So I lean over for the game. I just think that these guys want to get up and down.
Carver, hope you're prepped for the big storm. Let's win some snowblower money. Thank you, Steve. And yes, I'm very ready here on Long Island for anywhere between. I love the range too. Weathermen, it's a great job. These meteorologists, Doug, because they can tell you that it's anywhere from 3 to 6 inches to 1.5 to 2 feet. They give you a nice big range now, so they can't say that they were wrong with what they're actually giving you. A winter storm workaround travel for teams on the road. That could be something on the East Coast. You look at, I know if I was, listen, the Pats are going to leave early for Denver anyway, with the altitude and whatnot. They're not going to have a problem. But yes, Doug, we are supposed to get smashed here by me on Sunday, which means I'm going to have to hunker down with the 2 football games, which isn't the worst thing in the world, Doug. Is that if I just got those 2 games?
It's not. I do enjoy because I remember what it was like in those driveways and trying to weasel as little plowing or snow shoveling as possible to get to my car in the garage.
Yeah.
And then I was high maintenance. I paid for a service, but sometimes the service hadn't come there with the plow. When you're a bachelor, you learn where to allocate your funds. That's number one. That and rent was where it prioritized. That was part of rent as far as I was concerned. But sometimes you needed to get the walkway and you needed to do some things.
Yeah.
And so I do smile a little bit living in Vegas and getting to avoid all that and just chuckling.
I've I've got a corner house, so I've got double sidewalk to make sure that I cover. And of course, now my 2 kids want to drag me out to sled down the hill, down the block, and all that. So that'll all, though, have to be done before 3 o'clock East on Sunday, because after that, I'll be locking in for the football. Of course, we're here on Betting Weekly Live, Mike Carver and Doug Kezirian. If you like what you see, and why wouldn't you, make sure you subscribe to the Betting Weekly Studios channel on YouTube, where you can find us and, of course, all of our other shows, including Betting Weekly EPL. Dan Roebuck, Nigel Seeley, and Jack Wright preview Sunday's Arsenal versus Manchester United match, along with the rest of Match Day 23 in the Premier League. I talked to a big United fan yesterday who told me United are back. We shall see. We'll see what Dan, Nigel, and Jack say about that. Make sure you turn into Betting Weekly EPL on the Betting Weekly Studios channel. All right, Doug. How about some hockey? We're talking snowstorms. Why don't we go on the ice then, if that's what we got? We have 8 games here this evening, including ESPN has actually got one over-the-air game tonight, which is the Red Wings and the Wild in Minnesota. Really good win by the Red Wings last night in Toronto. And now they're playing on the second night of a back-to-back against a pretty good Minnesota team. Now, we've talked a lot about second night of back-to-backs, Doug, and we always kind of wonder, when do you have enough data? When do you have enough games that you can kind of say that's something that jumps out to you that means something? We've gone through this season so far, and I've given you, teams that have played 4 games or 5 games or whatever, and it's probably not a big enough sample size. The Red Wings have actually played 10 already sets of back-to-backs. This is their 11th tonight, and they are 3-7 on the second leg of the back-to-back so far this year. And this is a team that's having a really good year, and they're near the top of the East. So they have had a little bit of trouble here, losing 7 out of 10 on the second night.
So yeah, you answered my question. They're second seed right now in the Atlantic. So I would say that would be definitely cause for concern if you're thinking about betting the Red Wings. So I think that's a good hold there and pause and live to fight another day.
And I did see this last night, just talking about the Red Wings. This was actually on the TNT broadcast with them. Since right before Christmas, the 5 best records in the NHL are all 5, I should say, teams in the Atlantic. Tampa, Detroit, Montreal, Buffalo, Boston. The 5 best records in the league, Doug, all out of that division. So everybody's been playing really good hockey. And you see the 3-way regulation time on there. That's because, Doug, I'm going to play Minnesota in regulation tonight.
Ooh,
I'm going to take a
extra
shot
candy.
at that. Little extra candy, not going to lay the 158. I'm thinking second night, 3-7 to back-to-backs. Most of those 7, Doug, were regulation losses. So I'm going to go Wild in regs tonight at plus 114 now.
So obviously the people who make the odds understand, but that's a big change between minus 159 at Bet Rivers and then plus 114. So I think that's a smart angle.
There we go. I like that. See, when Doug says to me that's a smart angle, I feel a little bit better about my play. I always get very happy when Doug says that to me. So I'm ready to rock tonight, Wild, with a little regulation. Elsewhere, Buffalo and Montreal, I just mentioned to you, 2 of the 5 best records since Christmas. These are 2 of them. But I will say, this total 6.5, they played a banger last week, 5-3, 8 goals in Buffalo. It was a very up and down game. I think they had 4 goals in the first period. It was 2-2. Sabres are playing well. Both these teams are playing well. So I don't know if I really want to go anywhere on a side. But can we get another banger here? Another over 6.5 with these 2? They've
crazy. You mentioned a banger, 5-3. It's 8. That's only one more than what you absolutely need to cash in over. I mean, that's what's so crazy about some of these totals.
I guess banger would be more 7-6, right? That's a banger. We get 7-6. That's a banger. But you're not wrong. Like you say, I say right. 8, and that's like you say, like really, you're just getting by 6.5 with 8 goals. So if anything,
is it also? I mean, I'm just throwing this out there because they've been on the road. But is it better for the Sabres to be away because Pagula is not exactly? I mean, are they going to boo them?
I don't listen. They are having probably their best season in 15 years, the Sabres. So I actually think you could make a case. That's why Pagula actually ponied up to the table the other day. For once, the Sabres aren't miserable. So he was feeling himself a little, I think, which is why he kind of came out and talked. He knew he wasn't going to get any Sabre questions. I can't believe the Flyers blew that game either. Convinced me off the puck line, took the money line on Utah. Looked bleak down 3-0. That's the worst lead in hockey, Doug. 3-goal lead. And the Flyers blew it last. Yeah, that's like an old saying people. They never want to have a 3-goal lead in hockey. It's
I would argue you
one
do.
of those. you would the numbers would say you do want to have a
Call me
3-goal
crazy,
lead, but it doesn't happen as often. But there is some weird stuff that happens. Chicago's in Carolina tonight. Some heavy lumber for the Hurricanes as they're -3 Bills. There's just really nothing for me in that one. I am personally going after Columbus tonight because they played poorly for me on Tuesday night, and I have Dallas in town at -120. I'm taking Dallas tonight in Columbus. I'm going to go after the Jackets. Revenge.
Okay, I can see it. You were careful to not go against the Stars the other night, and I think that was wise.
Yes.
So I think you read that game correctly. I have a few futures awards I want to get into with the NHL, but I want to finish tonight's card.
Ooh, all right. Let me get through this then. Vegas heads east against Boston. Vegas is a road favorite in this game.
Do you agree with that? The Knights there?
Well, look, Boston, as we have discussed at length, they are a super streaky team. They have the fifth best, like I said, one of the top 5 records since Christmas. They did lose that losing streak in Dallas the other night, but that's against the top echelon team they were playing.
It's the game we were discussing.
In the Stars. At home, they're 17-8-1 at home this year, the Bruins. They've been a very good home team.
I thought Bruins would be like the ones that were -150 here.
I don't know if I would go that. I would say I thought it maybe would be more like even money Bruins, or I thought it would be a little closer to pick 'em than Knights -150.
The Knights are the worst good team there is.
The worst good team. I like that. That's a good way to describe them. I really wasn't gonna even touch this game tonight, Doug. This Golden Knights Bruins game, but I think that is a little much for Vegas at 150, considering how Boston's played at home this year. Kind of like Ottawa on the road in Nashville, although they're not starting and their backup's playing tonight, and he kind of stinks. So I don't know if I want to get involved with anything there. We've been waiting for the Panthers. It's weird. The Panthers, every time you think they're putting their foot on the gas, it stalls. They have one.
I don't know, man.
They have won 3 out of 4 on the road.
Playoffs.
They've been okay on the road. They've won 3 out of 4, but the Jets aren't that great.
They got the cup. Don't forget,
Yes, they do got that.
They celebrate.
Penguins won last night in Calgary. They're playing back-to-back in Edmonton. Oilers are -180. That's a big 6.5. And I already gave you the Red Wings and the Wild tonight as well. So there you go. Now I want to hear your futures now that we did all tonight's games.
Well, we kicked around McKinnon not too long ago, a month or so ago, where he was not this price. It's now -360. Look, you got to wait a while to cash these babies, but that thing has to be in the bag, no?
I would absolutely say that if the season ended today, if I was a voter, all of those other things, it's Nathan McKinnon probably a pretty decent amount, I would have to think, especially when you look at the season that Colorado has put together. You look at where he is in terms of the production that he has had. I find it very difficult to go anywhere else. I'm going to bring it up here. I have to go to my
question is McDavid have any value?
McDavid right now, and they got him at 550, huh? 550 for McDavid.
Yeah, because Celebrini's in there too, which I don't think Celebrini has a chance.
450. I said this to you the other day, or we had a question about in the chat box. I don't believe they'd give it to Celebrini, even if the Sharks made the playoffs. And it's a 3-horse race. I mean, there's nobody else after those 3. It goes.
Well, I would argue it's a 2-horse race. It's kind of like the NBA MVP. Luka is dead money, but he's the second favorite. So I think Celebrini's dead money.
I agree. 550. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I really don't. Because
I wanted to ask you because it did stand out as something, and McDavid's pretty nasty.
Because remember this, you have obviously the narrative of the best player in the world, and that's what he is. Remember, things, even though what happens in the Olympics has nothing to do with the NHL season and should have nothing to do with NHL awards or anything like that. Let's say Connor McDavid scores, the gold-winning goal for Canada, comes back, is on fire. That stuff gets in everyone's head, Doug. You know that.
Sure.
They're narrative-based voting on these awards. We talk about it in the NFL and the NBA, all of it. Just because it's hockey and it maybe doesn't get as much gas as everything else, it's there, especially with the guy who's the best in McDavid. 550 isn't worth. That's not a bad poke if you wanted to try it. If you want, I don't think it's.
What's the trajectory of vote? Like, is this like the Heisman, where like the last month matters a lot? I mean, nothing's like the Heisman, but you know what I'm asking. Well,
think about it this way. Let's say Colorado continues to just completely roll everybody, and they have a playoff spot clinched on March the 2nd, and they are just playing completely meaningless games the last 6 weeks of the season. Edmonton's second in the Pacific right now. Edmonton is not going to run away and hide from everybody. Could they go back and forth with the Knights for a few weeks and end up having this huge March in early April where they surge ahead and they're the 2 seed behind Colorado, and people say, man, look at what McDavid did down the stretch carrying the Oilers. Colorado's played meaningless games for 6 weeks. I don't think it's out of the question. I really don't. It's not out of the question.
We have in the Vezina discussion, Sorokin's minus $1.17. I don't think Vasilevsky has a shot. I think the way they go and everything, I would think it's Logan Thompson or him. So is there value at minus 117 on Sorokin?
I would say yes. I think that if he wasn't playing for the New York Islanders, he would be minus 300 or 400 right now.
Yeah.
I think he's minus 117 because he plays for the second New York team. That would be my look on it. He plays for the Islanders, and that's why he's not more. He's having a phenomenal year. He leads the NHL in shutouts. If the Islanders keep doing this, he's going to get him in the playoffs. It's obviously kind of also recognizable, Doug, as the goalie MVP, in terms of, and that would be what Sorokin is going to be this year. I think that there's still something with 117 for him. I agree. Vasilevsky, 8-1 for him right now at Bet Rivers for Vasilevsky. Been hurt a little bit too, and Tampa's been real good.
I shouldn't cut out Vasilevsky. That was probably a little aggressive.
I wouldn't cut him out. I wouldn't cut him out because there's a world where, and I hope this doesn't happen as an Islander fan, there's a world where Sorokin gets hurt, something like that, and Vasilevsky wins it over Logan Thompson. That could absolutely happen. But I like this.
Vasilevsky's, second in the league in goals against. Some of that's obviously credit to the defense, but
now and Matthew Schaefer's minus 670 for the Calder. He should probably be about minus 2,000. He plays for the Islanders, so he's minus 670. Not that you always ask, this is like the Mendoza thing with the price and all the. I would not say,
it's
but
not
no,
worth
Steve.
tying up money.
Matthew Schaefer.
I've actually come around. Is Vasilevsky worth a price at plus 800?
Wow.
I mean, he leads the league. Sorry, he's top 3 in save percentage, goals against average.
He's right there with them on all of that.
The reason I said no initially is I didn't think he'd get credit for a lot.
Sorokin's going to get a lot of credit for everything the Islanders are doing. So I do believe that he's probably not there. He should be a little bit more than he is right now going forward. I can't believe it. Look at that. 2 Islanders in the mix for awards. I think their coach should be in the mix too for the Jack Adams. I know there's not really any markets for that for the Coach of the Year award, but he should be there as well. As I was looking to the side to see, scrolling through it. All right, Doug, I like that. Thanks for the NHL Futures today. Outstanding.
Just gotta comb the desert.
We're going to be working them in. We're going to be working that stuff in a little more now with the football closing down. We're going to have some of these, and there is actually a few that are still very much on the table for us here. All right. Speaking of combing the desert, college hoops tonight on the men's side. We got some doozies here, both of us. Why don't we start? Kick us off, Doug, with USF. Here this evening. Why don't you get us going with their game? I believe that USF is playing UAB tonight. Let's start with that one.
Yeah, just reading the market, this feels like the right side. Now there's, I believe, revenge angle for UAB, but they're just not that good. So that's how I'm reading it. I had a feeling you'd ask me about this, and I should probably have prepared my notes. But this is revenge. USF lost in a game that I think went double overtime, and so now
Yes, 109,
UAB,
106.
yeah, UAB was going to. I just think I like betting favorites. This goes for football too. When favorites lose the first meeting, I like backing them the second meeting. Now, that didn't work out for Oregon in the semifinals against Indiana because they were the favorite at home in Eugene and then lost the rematch by even more. But typically that the steam is coming on the Bulls for a reason. So you mess with the bull, you get the horn here.
And yes, for everybody tuning in, why are we starting with South Florida and UAB tonight? There's no ranked games tonight. There are no top 25 teams playing. It is not a big, blockbuster night in college hoops. So we are surfing the mid-majors tonight, baby, and we love it. Huge night in college hoops. Stoke for Vermont, minus 200 at UMass Lowell. The Catamounts in the America East, Doug. Henry is excited for this evening. Huge night in college hoops.
I wouldn't go against Vermont. You can't mess around with the Catamounts, can you?
No, they've been the power in that league for a very long time. The Catamounts of Vermont.
There's 5 teams with 1 loss in this division. Sorry, 6 maybe.
Wow.
Just got to be careful there in the America East.
Horizon. We love the Horizon as well on Betting Weekly Live. And of course, we love Gottlieb and Green Bay. And this actually could have qualified, Doug. You know, every day in college, I try to give you a riddle me this. What's the line here? Green Bay has played very well. They're 11-9. They're on the road at the Penguins of Youngstown State, and they're catching 7.5 tonight.
I don't get it. I liked it overnight at 5.5. It's 7.5. Youngstown State, my friend, is 2-7 in conference play.
What's going on here?
I don't know. This is an early tip. We're less than 2 hours away. There's got to be an injury for the Phoenix. I'm betting Green Bay, and I expect to lose. Let me just put it that way. But I'm betting them because it's just too many points. And Green Bay, look, they're pretty good. Okay. Gottlieb knows what he's doing. Don't forget he's coached the Maccabee games. He's a son of a coach, all that. Okay. And they got boat raced by Oakland, but Oakland's one of the best teams in the conference, if not the best. I just think they needed a game to sort of regress, and that happened after winning 5 straight. I think they're a bet on team. I really do. 7.5 just feels like too many. I don't think the Penguins roll here, but the line movement would suggest they do.
Very bizarre. We'll try to get it with Green Bay tonight here, catching this 7.5. There is a Big Ten game on the schedule tonight. It's an unranked Big Ten game as we have Wisconsin at State College against Penn State tonight. We've got this right now. Wisconsin now 5.5 on the road. Happy Valley 159.5 the total.
That's another game I expect to lose. I'm going to take the points here, but Whiskey might be pretty good. They've obviously beat Michigan at Chrysler. And they've hung around. They're off now. They got boat raced by 30 at Nebraska, but I think that was before they wanted to accept that Nebraska's good. Penn State may just not be good. Over is another. So I bet you this: if you go Wisconsin team total over and then Penn State plus the 5.5, I think it'd be nearly impossible to go into. I just think it's one of those things where Penn State can hang around unless Whiskey just shoots the lights out, and if they do, you're going to hit the over and the team total. But I'm going to take the points. Very small play because I have to out of principle, but enough people are not taking the Nittany Lions here that makes me think that Whiskey might be the right side.
Might be the right. I'm going to go with you on Penn. I like Penn State tonight with the 5.5 at home. And like you said, it's a game that I expect to lose before I even get going in it. I am actually my mid-major stuff tonight. I am surfing the CAA. It's not the Colonial anymore, Doug. It's the Coastal now, right? Call it CAA the Coastal. Yeah, they changed that conference. And we have UNC Wilmington, who has been the best team in this league. They've been one of the best teams for a very long time. They're undefeated in conference, 6-0 to start the year. As they take the trip to William and Mary tonight, This was tonight's game that just said, what do we have going on here? William and Mary is a 2.5-point favorite over UNC Wilmington, 17-2, 6-0 in conference. William and Mary's 12-6, so they're not awful. Give me William and Mary minus the 2.5, Doug. I'll play it.
Tribe, the home of the Fighting Mike Tomlins.
Taking the Tribe tonight.
And I think McDermott, they were like teammates in college too.
They were. They both went to W&M and played there together. I remember all those NBC Sunday Night Football features of the two of them in their uniforms and all that, talking about it. But yes, I'm going to take this. This is one of these ones that sticks out to me, Doug. Have I watched a lot of William and Mary this year? No, but
hope not.
I've got the 6-0, 17-2 Wilmington team, Dogs in their building tonight. I'll take the Tribe this evening.
We fare better fading Wilmington than you do Miami of Ohio.
Oh my goodness! I mean, you got to be kidding me. Here's another one that we've had a little bit of success with, and that is the overs in the Denver games in the Summit, which are now kicking at a cool 16-1 this year. The over for these Denver games.
That's absurd.
It is absurd because they're just far and away the best over team in college basketball this year. It is 159.5 with North Dakota State, the Bison. 158.5 with the Bison tonight. You know what we're doing, Doug? Up and away for Denver.
It's absurd. I'm calling up their game log here. We're looking at they're in the 160s every game. They're still flying over.
Every game's flying over. So I am and I can't even say I'm just jumping in because I've actually now been on. We've brought it up a couple Thursdays that they've played here. We've been on Denver. So I am just gonna go.
This game landed 185.
Look at that. 185. The last one that they played. And I will finish things off with a little late night. In the Big West action. We always love late nights in the Big West, and Hawaii is laying 16.5 at home to Cal State Bakersfield. I'm actually going total here, Doug. I did not know till I was doing some research this morning who is the best under team in college basketball this year. It's Hawaii with the most unders in college hoops. And I think, do you think a lot of that plays in these teams, hopping over there for these one games with them? Probably a little sleepy, these California
defense travels, I guess, from the islands to the mainland.
Yeah. So this one, Cal State Bakersfield, who's not that good, has to make the long trip to Hawaii. We're going to go under 144.5 in the Hawaii game tonight.
I'm not going to stop you. You did really well in the last time. So
that was actually, they did. Now I think next week's when they come back to the mainland, Doug, they actually did exactly the same thing that they did in the first trip. So they've had 2 trips to the mainland to play these Big West teams late night. They smashed a team in the first game on Thursday night and then lost outright in the weekend game on Saturday. Did it the second time. And then next week they're doing it again. I think it's Irvine and Riverside they're playing next week on the road when they come mainland. So we'll have to follow a little Hawaii next week when they come back over here. So there you go. College hoops for tonight. Plenty of action, even though there's no ranked teams. We were able to find a few things. Plenty of action with the Australian Open, as well as we've been telling you here on Betting Weekly Live. Make sure you go on your BetRivers app, enter the bonus code BWAO, letter O, 26 in your BetRivers app to get a $10 bonus bet to use on an Australian Open wager. That code again is BWAO, see it on the screen, 26. Offer expires on January 31st. Must be 21. Eligible players only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Also, when you log into the BetRivers app, you can receive a daily Australian Open profit boost to use on the day's matches. There you go, getting involved. All right, Doug, before we go and do the best bets in the Daily Double, how about a little UFC? Because we're back with a big card on Saturday night in Vegas at the T-Mobile, 324. Of course, they're moving to Paramount. Big deal for the UFC. And we've got ourselves a couple of good fights here. I know that we've got Patty Pimblett on the card. Sugar Sean O'Malley's fighting. Give me a little something for the UFC on Saturday.
Yeah, so this is the cards now on CBS, pay-per-view, all that stuff, transition from ESPN. Really exciting main event and co-main event. We'll start with the main event, or I believe is the main event. Gaethje against Pimblett. So Pimblett's great. Hasn't lost the UFC. He only has 3 losses in his career, and those 3 losses have come 2 by decision, 1 via sub. So Gaethje just is not going to win this on the mat. So he's known for strikes. I know some guys who took the plus, $2 or so, and I understand that angle. I just think in a 5-round fight, Pimblett's going to get him on the mat at some point. He may not, but I think he will. And if he does, the fight's probably over. So with the 5-rounder, I think knowing that Gaethje's got to stay off the mat and avoid the takedowns, I think he's going to kind of extend this fight, and it's going to be a lot of feeling out process. Gaethje's known for strikes, but he only has 1 knockout in the last 4 years. Okay. Pimblett, yeah, he knocked out Michael Chandler, but that was Chandler's 3rd straight loss. So maybe that was collecting a paycheck, as Poirier suggested. So I like over 2.5 rounds. We got to get through the middle of the 3rd, and betting overs in UFC fights is never fun because 1 strike can end it, especially with Gaethje involved. But Pimblett can take it. And I just think it's going to be a lot of cat and mouse with Pimblett trying to set up a takedown and Gaethje trying to avoid it. So I don't think Gaethje is going to be as aggressive going for that, strikes, knowing that 1 mistake can get him to the mat and that could end the fight. So knowing that it's 5 rounds, I think there could be a little, dancing around early and maybe even a first round and a half or so.
Nice little Gaethje and Pimblett up and away over the 2.5 rounds. And everybody loves this O'Malley because he loves to scrap this O'Malley, right, Doug?
Yeah, so Sean Sugar Shane O'Malley, he is the best striker in his division. And he has been submitted in his last 2 fights, or he lost his last 2 fights because he lost to Nurmagomedov. And that guy's obviously an awesome takedown guy. So with here in this matchup, Yadong's not taking him down. He's known as a striker. So if O'Malley has the peace of mind to not worry about the takedown and just be able to pinpoint his strikes, because he's got pinpoint accuracy, I think he's going to be able to handle the business. Now, Yadong is not just 1 punch and lights out. It's favored to go over considerably. The juice on 2.5 is pretty heavy. I think O'Malley can knock him out, though. Plus 300 or whatever you can grab here with the KO, plus 330. I think is a really nice price. It's probably going to go to decision, but to get that price, my concern is that O'Malley is at his best when he's got the swagger and the confidence, and he's talking smack, and he's kind of unfazed, if you will. The fact that he's lost a couple does give me a little concern, but again, that's come via the submission expert, and he doesn't have that concern. I think he can go back to letting his fist fly here. So I think he's going to come out, and if he seems to be saying the right things in training camp. So O'Malley plus 330. I think, look, the overs, you can get under plus 165 or something like that, but I'd rather just go knockout for O'Malley plus 330.
Let's go. Knock him out. Plus 330. I like that, Doug. Let's make it happen. UFC is back on Saturday night. And also tune in tomorrow on the Betting Weekly Studios channel, because we're going to have Betting Weekly Fight Life. Kyle Andrew and Paul Hughes will preview the entire main card of UFC 324 Saturday night, T-Mobile in Vegas. We got another card next week too. They're doing a little back-to-back. So lots of fight action here to start the new year. All right, it is time. The best bets and the daily double on Betting Weekly Live. I will start, Doug, with kind of let you know, I think, a little bit where I'm going to go. 16-1 to the over so far this year. Denver, it's been track meets night in and night out. They've got North Dakota State they're playing this evening, 158.5. Up and away with Denver to do it one more time for me.
How can you not, right? 16-1. What the heck happened to that 1 under? That's what I got to research.
Yeah.
I don't love the card. I really wanted to take Green Bay in the 7.5. But I'm going to go the NBA. I think it's a bounce back spot for the Spurs offense against this bad Jazz defense, and the pace of the game should be up and down. Now, 64.5 is a big number, but, these teams get there. I think the Celtics had 81 the other night in the first half. So bombs away from three, not a lot of rim protection, no marketing, no Kessler, obviously, for Utah. They're just going to want to get the ball out of the hoop and run, and they're going to shoot early in the shot clock as well. So I think the Spurs will name their score here in the first half. Don't want to do full game, although maybe I should, but I just think the altitude will kick in. I like first half.
So there you go. Daily double for tonight on Betting Weekly Live. We've got the Spurs first half team total over 64.5, the over 158.5 in Denver and North Dakota State gets us to plus 248 tonight at Bet Rivers. Let's get back on the daily double train a little bit here. We've been right there, Doug, every single night. It's just been hanging there for us, and now we got to go and start grabbing it and taking it. And we're going to do it here this evening with these two. So good job. As always, Doug, we're back tomorrow, 4 p.m. East, 1 p.m. Pacific, where it's a big Friday show because we have our final look at the AFC and NFC title games tomorrow on the show. We have a lot of NBA, NHL, and college hoops, as we always do. Some good college hoop games this weekend that we will get into as well. So a very busy Friday that we will have here on Betting Weekly Live. Of course, Betting Weekly Studio is part of the Bet Rivers Network. Mike Carver, Doug Kezirian, have a great night, and we will see you back here tomorrow on Betting Weekly Live.